Hello and welcome to today's Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here because today we're going on a bit of a journey to unpack the true mechanics of management. You know, we throw the word manager around a lot, don't we? But what does it actually take to steer the ship, especially when the waters get, well, incredibly choppy? Today, we're going to break down the science, the structure, and those vital skills that really separate great leaders from the rest.
So imagine this for a second. You are the general manager of IT company ABC. You've built your budget, you've hired your programmers, your project managers, and then suddenly, bam, the dot-com crisis hits. Your export market, it completely disappears, literally overnight. But here's the kicker. Your financial survival depends entirely on that revenue. So what do you do? Listen, this isn't just some theoretical textbook scenario. This is the real high-stakes problem solving that defines management. You're at a crossroads and your cash flow is suddenly sitting at zero. Surviving a massive crisis like that, it doesn't just happen by luck. Management is the solution here. It's the active, deliberate process of applying the exact right skills at the right level of your organization. And what's really fascinating is that the tools you need to fix a crisis as a frontline supervisor are completely different from the tools you're going to need as a CEO. Surviving and thriving requires a very specific, dynamic mix of skills that actually has to shift as you climb that corporate ladder. Section 1. The foundation. 3 core skills. Okay, let's dive into this, because before we can talk about climbing the corporate ladder, we really need to understand the building blocks. There are 3 foundational abilities that every single manager has to master to some degree. First up, we have technical and human skills. Now, technical skills are your knowledge and proficiency in a specialized field, right? Think programming in IT, or accounting, operating heavy machinery, that sort of thing. But here is the catch. Technical skills can become obsolete incredibly fast. Actually, the half-life of a learned technical skill today is often less than 5 years. Crazy, right? Then you have human skills. This is your ability to work well with other people, both individually and in a group setting. Remember, management is ultimately defined as getting work done with and through other people. If you can't communicate or motivate your team, well, nothing gets built. Finally, we have conceptual skills. This is absolutely crucial. It's the ability to think abstractly and deal with really complex situations. It's the power to step back, see the entire organization as one giant interconnected puzzle, and visualize how it fits into the broader future environment. Essentially, it's the ability to dream up a vision and then actually breathe life into it. Section 2. The structure. The management pyramid. So how do those 3 core skills, technical, human, and conceptual, actually play out in the real world? Well, the classic corporate hierarchy forms a pyramid, which makes sense. It's the most stable structure out there. At the very top, you've got your top managers, like your CEO or president. Right below them are the middle managers, think department heads. Then you have first-line managers. Those are your supervisors. And at the foundational base, you have the non-managers. These are the incredibly vital, skilled and unskilled workers who are directly involved with the actual production of the goods or services. Now, I absolutely love this metaphor from the source material. The middle manager is a kind of sandwich. Think about it. They are like the meat patty caught right between 2 buns. They have to deal with the grand vision and the demands of the top managers above them, while simultaneously managing and supporting the first-line managers directly below them. It is a very delicate, high-pressure, and, let's be honest, sometimes thankless balancing act. Let's contrast the extremes of this pyramid for a second to see why management really isn't a one-size-fits-all job. A top manager is up there making organization-wide decisions. They are charting the vision for 5, maybe 10 years down the road. Meanwhile, a first-line manager is directly involved with daily production. They're on the assembly line, they're supervising operators, making sure the actual product gets out the door today. Because their daily focus is so vastly different, their required skill sets absolutely must differ as well. Section 3. The intersection. The skill shift formula. And this brilliantly illustrates the core aha moment of our entire explainer. As you move up or down that pyramid, the recipe for success changes dramatically. Take a top manager, for example. Their skill mix looks exactly like this. 50% human skills, 40% conceptual skills, and only 10% technical skills. When you're the CEO, you are heavily relying on those conceptual abilities to plot the future of the company and navigate massive market shifts, like that dot-com crisis we talked about earlier. Technical skills kind of take a back seat because, well, you aren't the one actively writing the code or operating the machinery anymore. But look at the first-line manager. It is the exact inversion.
They need 50% human skills, a massive 40% technical skills, and only 10% conceptual skills. To effectively supervise an assembly line or, say, an IT help desk, you desperately need the technical know-how to guide your team, fix immediate problems, and ensure quality control. You need far less abstract conceptualization because your primary goal is immediate execution. So what does this all mean? The absolute crucial point here is this number, 50%. Did you notice that constant? Whether you're the CEO sitting in the boardroom or the shift supervisor down on the factory floor, human skills require exactly 50% of your focus. At every single level of management, your ability to interact, to motivate, and work alongside other human beings is literally half the battle. You can never, ever outgrow the need for people skills. Section 4. Future-proofing 21st Century Challenges. Of course, knowing the skills is really just the starting line. We have to actually apply them to the real world. And let's face it, today's managers are navigating an absolute minefield of massive modern challenges. You have to deal with incredible diversity in the workplace. You have to navigate globalization, where, your supplier might be in Pakistan, your customers in Europe, and your competitors are quite literally everywhere. And on top of all that, you must relentlessly ensure quality, producing better goods at lower costs just to stay alive in this integrated global market. When we talk about diversity, the source material uses this really beautiful metaphor. Diversity is like a bouquet of flowers. The beauty comes from all the different colors and sizes. I mean, a bouquet isn't all that stunning if it's just one single type of flower, right? In a company, bringing together people of different cultures, genders, languages, and backgrounds is practically essential. It's exactly what makes a team fundamentally stronger, much more adaptable, and vastly more innovative. And as a manager, your human skills are the exact thing that allows you to bind that diverse bouquet together. Section 5. Application. The pizza shop test. Let's move to and see how this all builds into practical, everyday action. I want you to imagine you are managing a busy pizza shop. We're going to test your skills right now using the 4 fundamental management functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, often called POLC. Okay, so when you assign job duties to your staff, what are you doing? You're organizing. When you provide employee incentives to keep morale high, that's leading. What about checking pizza delivery times to ensure they're meeting the schedule? Yep, that is controlling. Hiring experienced cooks takes organizing and planning. And monitoring your open and close times, that's controlling again. By categorizing these everyday tasks, you take abstract management theory and turn it into concrete daily action. So how well did you manage the pizza shop? But more importantly, I want you to take a hard look at your own professional life. Is your current mix of technical, human, and conceptual skills actually ready for the next level up the pyramid? Because remember, the skills that got you where you are today are not necessarily the exact skills you're going to need to conquer tomorrow's challenges. You have to keep evaluating, keep adapting, and keep learning. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.